Hello, and welcome to Team Franco Bodybuilding Podcast number 25. First, let me apologize for going ghost. I did a bunch of these last year, 24 of them to be exact. And the 24th one was back in October, thinking I was going to pick it right back up and continue through the winter months of 2020, but I'll be honest, I lost some motivation. I talked a lot about the psychology of bodybuilding, the last few, and mindset, how we should proceed when things aren't going that great. But of course, there was some good contest prep content in the beginning, and I like to believe that information still holds true today, as that is my goal with my podcast. Really, not to be time stamped, but something that you can listen to from a year from now, 5 years. You can share it with other people, and it'll be beneficial for many. Going into this year, obviously we have high hopes as coaches, promoters, physique athletes, or just fitness enthusiasts, hoping that our gyms stay open. And being the new year, I am grateful that my business is still well and more people are inquiring, whether it's to compete or just to better themselves. It's always an honor working with someone new. And it's an honor when clients stick with me through the tough times. So that comes to my topic. What trait, what character do people need to have success when things aren't going their way or when the surroundings they can't control? Is really quite simple, but it's not always easy to obtain or to go through with it. And that is staying level-headed. People often, when they start a new goal, they'll get super excited. They'll brag or they have to show on social media what's going on. They ride that high, that big wave, that big 20-foot wave, because it's just exciting, and it should be. But as all waves do, they do end up crashing at some point. Then there's the other side of the spectrum. There's the low wave, the 2-foot wave that you may be riding. It's not as exciting. It's not as much attention getting. But guess what? That goes as far to the shore and stays a little bit more steady. Now, I'm not saying that when you are trying to reach a goal, as far as competing or just bettering yourself, weight loss, strength gains, whatever it may be, that you got to remain so subdued or mundane and put yourself in a closet and never come out. No, but you have to understand that when you ride that high wave, there's going to be a greater chance of crashing, or if another surfer comes along, like a speed bump, it's going to knock you on your ass, and you may not get back up onto that next wave that's coming in. People who have the greatest achievements, the greatest accomplishments, typically play the long game. They focus on what's ahead of them, one day at a time. They build upon their habits, and they ride that low wave out because it's going to take them to their goal, even though it may take them a little bit longer. So when there's stressful times, and it's going to happen, whatever the case may be. With this whole virus thing, the gyms may close down again. Your show may get canceled. So therefore, if you're not riding, if you're off that high wave and focusing, just going with the course, it's not going to knock you on your ass as hard. And you're going to pick yourself right back up and be able to focus on the next step, the next availability to, compete whenever the time may be. I've had clients that I've seen this firsthand. Years ago, it was at the Yorton Cup. I was supporting a bunch of clients at that show. I was actually judging it. But truth be told, I didn't judge any of my clients because back then we would judge certain classes, and I told the promoter that I have a certain amount of clients doing a show, yada yada. So I kept my integrity and I didn't judge anyone. But there was one particular woman client, figure competitor, top pro. She ended up winning the Yorton Cup, I think, like 2 years after. And I finally got to meet her for the first time. Yeah, we spoke on the phone a little bit, mostly through emails, but I never met her in person. And besides looking fantastic, she was so down to earth, so relaxed. I mean, she had her friend backstage. It was almost like she was waiting to get inside of a restaurant to be seated. She had all the patience in the world, didn't get all hyped up, and was just like, "Oh, hi, Joe. It's so nice to finally meet you in person. It's so great. What do you think of the show so far? How are your other clients doing? Oh, is your wife here today? Hopefully I get to meet her. I've heard on and on." It was nothing about, "Oh my God, how do you think I look? Did you see the other girls? How's the stage lighting? Oh, hopefully I do well." None of that. It was just a level head, riding out that low wave and nice and calm. Now, maybe she's this way her whole life, which to me is a benefit when it comes to competing because you're not going to get thrown off that high wave because you're not going to be riding it. It's just even keel. The highs never get too high, the lows never get too low, and you just stay the course nice and steady. It's a learned thing if you are a type A type personality. I have plenty of type A type clients, and they can ride that wave and not crash because they're forcing it, keep on pushing through, and they can make it. But you know what? That can also be really draining. It could be really hard on you. It could be really hard on your loved ones, on whatever your employment may be. Every little detail gets hyper focused. It could be stressful. So it's something that I would not suggest because unless you're a born type A, you're going to have a greater difficulty trying to keep that high all the time. So going into this year, if you have new goals, my biggest suggestion is get excited, be proud of what you're going to be doing, focus on your daily habits, but don't let it be bigger than what it really is. That is something that's super important. One of my old sayings is that bodybuilding is an important part of your life, but don't make it your life. Focus on the other things going on. If it's your job, your career, your family, hobbies, travel, because a workout typically takes an hour a day. Your eating is just food. So take it as it comes, focus on other things, look for the positive things going on, and you're going to be more proud of yourself because you make it through. You're going to sustain the process. You're going to enjoy it that much more. And if a speed bump happens, or if you get thrown off leaving that low wave, it's going to be that much easier to get back on your board and continue that path. That is something that I cannot stress enough, and I really like seeing that in first-time competitors. I can pick it up right away if they're nice and chill, just through talking to them on the phone or swapping a few emails. Like I had one tonight. The guy trained, years and years ago and wanted to get back on board. And he goes, "You know what? I'm in my early 50s. I just want to compete. I have my family now. Everyone's happy and healthy. I feel good. And I'm going to take all the time that is needed to reach my goal so I'm presentable on stage." I didn't have to coach him on anything. It was like, great, this is going to be an easy transition. I'm going to work on your plan, send everything over, and you're going to fall right into it, and you're going to have nice progress because you're not forcing the issue. He's already not riding any high or low. I mean, he's just on that low wave, taking it nice and easy, and he's going to get the results. I am 100% confident. So that's my message. That's for my quicker first podcast of the year, that I just want you to pull yourself in once in a while. If you find yourself getting all jacked up and then, be like, wait a minute, you know what? I got to focus on other things in my life, even though this is important to me. It's just something that you need to remind yourself once in a while to keep yourself grounded, even though I had some funky analogies in there. So this is going to wrap up this podcast, a little bit shorter. Just wanted to get this out there because I had some thoughts. If anybody has any questions about anything contest prep, fat loss, exercise, diet, whatever the case may be, I'm easily reachable by emailing fitfranco@verizon.net. I do have an Instagram page, Team Franco Bodybuilding, and also Joe Franco. You can reach me through there. Check out the content. And any ideas for future podcasts or something that you think is worthwhile, let me know. So I'm signing off for tonight, and I will be back shortly. I promise that is the goal moving forward. Thanks, guys.